Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Sara Newton, and I am the Chief Development Officer at Duo Dogs. This is Erin Welsh. She is my teammate and the engagement manager. We have brought some touch teams with us as well. They're hanging out in the back. David Chi, who's actually a Bear employee. He has his handsome dog named Cuba. And then we have Margot Monzer over here with Regis. So please feel free to stop by. They work for pets. So we're going to do a short little presentation, and then I'm going to show you what our Duo dog, ambassador dog Evie is anyone familiar with Duo Dogs or heard of Duo Dogs? Perfect. So I always like to say we're the best kept secret at Page and Lindbergh. So we're kind of in Bear's backyard, but we're so thankful and grateful to be here to just tell you a little bit more about the important work that we're doing. So we train and connect dogs with people to cultivate positive change in individuals, families, and communities. We are over 40 years old. We originally started in Columbus, Ohio. We were called Support Dogs for the Handicap. Years later, dropped the handicap. And then in 2018, we did rebrand to Duo. And Duo really encompasses the person and the dog. So we have roughly over 20 employees and a little over 600 volunteers. Even though we are a St. Louis-based nonprofit, we do place our dogs nationally. So we do have a dog in Canada, so I guess you could say we're international as well. And then we did have a dog over at Cambridge University in the UK who has since retired and is enjoying his retiring. So we are accredited by Assistance Dog International. They are a group of nonprofits, organizations that train and place assistance dogs. They really set the standards for us. And we are also recognized by the American Kennel Club as a therapy dog training and certification organization. So we offer positive-based obedience in our classes to the public, and we also offer off-site volunteer opportunities with our touch teams and dogs, which I'll talk a little bit more about. So the type of assistance dogs that we place mobility dogs who can open and close doors, pick up dropped items, retrieve objects, carry bags, etc. We also have hearing dogs. So these alert people who are deaf or hard of hearing to important sounds such as doorbells or alarms or phones, as well as we serve local veterans with a diagnosis of PTSD who reside within 50 miles of the Duo facility. We also place facility dogs. So we place our dogs in courthouses, child advocacy centers, and schools. And we currently have 35 working facility dogs on assignment. So some of our local famous Duo dogs, we have Duo Dog Thor at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital. And then we have Duo Dog Casey and Opal, who are at St. Louis Children's. And then Duo Dog Woody is at SLU University, just to name a couple of our famous ones. So a lot of people ask, what is the journey for a dog to become a Duo assistance dog? So it takes 2 years. We do breed, raise, and train all of our dogs, and we do this over the course of 2 years, and we invest nearly $50,000 for one dog from birth to placement. We never pass that cost on to our clients or our facilities. So it all starts with the breeding and the whelping. So our Duo dogs are bred through a specialized breeding program to ensure that each dog has the best genetic foundation and health standards to build from. And then for the first 8 weeks of their lives, they live at Duo. Our Chief Canine Officer, Chrissy Smith, who is amazing, she births all the dogs. I recently had the pleasure of seeing a live birth. It was something. And then once they are 2 months old, they then go out into the community with our volunteer puppy raisers. So these volunteer puppy raisers are really essential to the development and the growth of the dog. And the dogs live with the volunteer puppy raisers for 12 to 18 months. 18 months is the cue, because when I raised my first puppy, my husband thought I said 18 weeks. And I said, oh, no, 18 months. And really what the job for the volunteer puppy raisers, I'm so sorry, guys, I keep switching ahead. Let me go back. Okay. So really the job of the volunteer puppy raisers is where they come to Duo once a week for an hour with the litter mates to start learning their training. The puppies are also taken out by the volunteer puppy raisers to a variety of events because we want our dogs to be subjected to all kinds of sights, sounds, smells. Margot over here, I believe, is on her third or fourth puppy that she's raised. So please see Margot and myself if you're interested in that opportunity. And then after 18 months, the dog does get turned back into duo. Yes, you have to turn the dog back in. So it's a very emotional day, but it's also an exciting day because our volunteer puppy raisers are about to see what the dog's advanced skills are. We do lovingly call this duo college. So they come to duo for the next 4 to 6 months, where our canine team works very, very closely with our chief program officer as well as our social worker on staff to see what the dog's skills are. So we do not train our dogs for specific jobs. We really want our dogs to be happy with what they're doing. So for example, we had duo dog Belle, who was placed with a family. She could pick credit cards up off the floor. Which was really impressive to see. We do have a dog in Kansas City. His name is duo dog Coleman. He's at a child advocacy center, and his volunteer puppy raiser had like 10 to 15 grandkids. So Coleman was exposed to a lot of kids, and he's really thriving in the work that he does. So typically for our dogs, they will work for 8 years. So as I mentioned, they are placed at 2 years old, and then they retire at 10. So not only is that an ADI kind of gold standard, it's also a duo gold standard. We really want our dogs to enjoy their retirement after all the important work that they've done. So as I mentioned, under the duo umbrella, we also have the duo touch therapy program. So this is where volunteers come in with their own personal dogs like Cuba and Regis, and they are trained and certified to go out into the community and provide comfort and joy, whether that is to a school, a hospital, a nursing home. Currently, we have over 300 touch teams in the St. Louis metropolitan area, and we do work with over 150 facilities, and we do not charge for these teams to be at these facilities. So I'm pretty sure Margot and David could agree that touch therapy is such a joy to do, to see the faces and the impact that these dogs are really making in the community. Just to give you an idea of the number of touches, in 2024, we had 287,000 touches across our community. So that's really impressive to see what these dogs are doing. So what's the touch therapy journey? So we do, as I mentioned earlier, we do offer puppy and basic obedience classes at Duo for dogs that are ages 6 months or over. Then when the dog turns 8 months, they then go into a duo prep course, touch prep course, which really helps them understand what they're about to go into. And then when they're 2 years of age or older, then they go into the touch program. That's actually me with my retired touch dog, Mishka, there at graduation. And then we do offer ongoing recertifications until the dog retires. So as I mentioned, with our duo working dogs, they do retire at 10. Our duo touch therapy dogs, they can continue to work as long as they're comfortable. I believe our oldest touch dog is 16 right now and still working. So it's really impressive to see that dog work. So we often get asked, what's the difference between a facility dog and a touch therapy dog? There's a lot of similarities that you can see here, but also some important differences to note. So a facility dog is a dog trained for specific tasks, working with a professional handler in a contracted facility. A therapy dog is actually trained by their owner. So you will notice Evie does have an ambassador cape on, and the therapy dogs in the back, Cuba and Regis, they have touch therapy capes. But if you were to go to Children's or Cardinal Glennon or SLU, you will see that they're cape safe facility dog. So as far as our facility dogs do go, for example, if it's in a hospital, typically it's the child life specialist, or it could be an OT therapist. But the duo dogs in facilities, they are our dogs until they retire. So they have a 9 to 5. They put that cape on, they're going to work. And when they're off work, they become a regular dog. So it's really cute to see. So lastly, if you're wondering, how can I get involved with Duo? We have a plethora of volunteer opportunities. Our Welper helpers are the ones that are with the little babies. That is our most popular one. As I mentioned, we do have opportunities to raise dogs. We call them VPRs, or our volunteer puppy raisers. We also have opportunities if you are not ready to take on a dog for a year and a half, which most people are not. We do offer puppy sitters. We do lovingly call that the gateway drug to becoming a volunteer puppy raiser. But it's a great opportunity to really help us out. And, I'm raising a puppy myself right now, and I can't ask mom and dad to watch Little Miss Muffin while I go on vacation. It has to be a certified puppy sitter. We also offer kennel enrichment. So when the dogs come back for advanced training, or Duo College, as we call it, the dogs do still have to be worked. I will tell you, our volunteer puppy raisers who turn in the dogs, they're the first ones to sign up so they can see their dogs. And then again, touch therapy. I always say, if you have a dog that has a great demeanor, that's 2 years of age or older, touch therapy is literally the best thing that you will ever do in your life. I say outside of my children, it was the best thing I've ever done. So, but we will be around after the demo to answer more questions regarding any volunteer opportunities, or just basically what we do have to offer at Duo. And I know nobody really cares what I have to say. You just want to see what the star Evie's going to do. So a little bit of background on Evie. So Evie was raised by volunteer puppy raisers during COVID, Eric and Brenda, who are fabulous. And when Evie came back to Duo for her advanced training, our chief canine officer, Chrissy, realized that she had a little bit of separation anxiety. Evie is, yes, we're talking about you, girl. Evie is an English Labrador. And that is the breed that we do breed, raise, and train at Duo. Basically, the difference between an English Lab and American Lab, English Labs are a little stockier. They have a little bit less of a prey drive, aren't really people specific. But as you could notice, Evie will not take her eyes off of Erin. So we get a lot of questions of, does she do work just for the handlers? No, if you're on the other end of the leash and you have a child, it will work for you. So again, when Evie came back, Chrissy realized that she had a little bit of separation anxiety. Also, she's a retriever, but she does not. You can throw a ball and she'll say, pick it up, and then just drop it. So unfortunately, she was not placed with a client. However, she has all of the skills of a working dog. So she became our ambassador dog. I don't know if there's any St. Louis Blues fans in here. The Blues also have a Duo ambassador dog. His name's Barclay. So if you do go to any St. Louis Blues games, he'll be in his little pen to greet everybody. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what we look for in our dogs. Oh, perfect. So they can see. Okay. Evie, come. Great. Okay, so some of the qualities that we look for in our dogs, or basically the way we start training them, is number one is the loose leash walking, especially with our clients who have some mobility challenges or maybe in a wheelchair. We don't want our dogs pulling them or making it any forceful. Evie, come. I always preface this with, she is a dog, so sometimes I do have to politely ask her twice to do something. So loose leash walking is really important for us. Evie is such a good loose leash walker. She doesn't necessarily need to have her leash. Evie, let's go. What a girl. What a girl. Good girl. So the other thing we do with our dogs, including a lot of what you're going to see me do with Evie, we actually do in our touch therapy classes. Evie, heel. All the way. All the way. What a girl. Okay, good girl. Sometimes she's stubborn. So we do train our dogs on the left side. The heel's very important, but our dogs can work on all sides. Evie front. What a girl. Evie side. All the way. All the way. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. So we do have the ability to train them on different sides. Evie heel. Evie down. All the way. She's like, it's almost Friday, lady. So you'll notice when Evie's in a down position, her hips flip to the left. This is especially important for any clients who may have a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair so that the legs are not getting run over. But Evie is a master flipper. So no matter what side I go on, she will flip her hips, which people go crazy over this. I was just telling Caitlin, wasn't this your favorite thing when you came to tour? Yes. So people go crazy for it. She loves flipping her hips. That's just a great example of the things she can do. What a girl. Okay, Evie free. We use free a lot so that the dogs understand that they're not to come out of their position until we call them. Evie heel. Down. Stay. So she's even a master. She knows that she's not coming out of that position. We also never want our clients to walk away from the dog, let the leash down. But she's amazing at the down stay. Evie, free. Stay. Wait. And the elementary school kids go crazy over this, my 6-year-old included. We call it hide and seek in our house. Oh, over here, Evie. I tricked you. What a girl. What a girl. What a good girl. Come on, Evie. The other things that we work with our dogs, dogs, snoots, have such power in them. I think they can smell 300 times more than a human. So Evie heel, we do use that to advantage. So we start with the basic touch. Evie touch. Good girl. Evie touch. She's like, give me the treats. Evie, where are the treats? Where are they? Do you see them? I like to mess with her a lot. What a girl. So we can use that touch and really advance it further. This is one of her favorites. Evie light. All the way. Get it? They're good. What a girl. What a girl. And I will tell you, when she comes home with me, I cannot keep the lights off because that's all she does. We do not teach our dogs to turn the lights off. Otherwise, it would be nuts. Evie light. What a girl. One more time. Good girl. What a girl. And then we can go even further. And I always love to tell this story. The first time I ever did a demo with Evie, I was at Ameren and I put the bell on the floor, not thinking about it. And it was just the whole time. So wait, Evie, wait. Okay, Belle, get it again. Get it again. Good girl. One more time. What a girl. What a girl. So some of the, there she goes. If you don't look, she will knock that bell over. Thank you, girl. Oh, not sitting well. Okay, she got it. So some of the other skills that Evie does know, as I mentioned, we do work with veterans with PTSD. We do have a command called rest, where she will apply pressure to my leg, as well as up, where if we have a veteran who's having an episode, that can help calm with the pressure. She also has abilities of a hearing dog. So if we play a siren, she is trained to boot me in the leg and then bring me to that noise. So she's really an incredible dog. Outside of her just being beautiful, she provides a lot of comfort to the staff at Duo as well. If we are ever having any issues with puppies, whether it's behavioral, this is Evie the enforcer. So she has a way of turning these puppies right around, which people love, but we just love her. We lovingly call her Eveline. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's Eveline. Or in my house, my son loves to sing, Eveline, so nice and clean. What a girl. So those are just some basic commands that we teach our dogs. So if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Or we'll yes. Great question. So she said, when the dogs retire, where do they go? So for example, if we are in a hospital, we are focused right now, I didn't mention this, it is a 2-year wait list. That's the national standard because the dogs are born and then raised. So right now we're focused on our successor dogs. So I mentioned Thor at Cardinal Glennon. He's retiring next year. We don't ever want to have a lapse in the work that the dogs are doing. So typically what will happen is the handlers will take on that dog and adopt the dog. If they're not in a position to do that, a family member will. If that doesn't happen, then we will go to the volunteer puppy raisers, and they have the opportunity to adopt. If that is not happening as well, then the last resort is we do have about 30 people at Duo who are willing to adopt a retired Duo dog. So our dogs are very well taken care of. I like to think people try to fight over them too, a little bit. So any other questions? Yes.
Can a PTSD dog become a touch therapy dog as well?
So that is a great question. At Duo, we never use the term fail. Like if a dog doesn't go on to make it, we call it a career change. So Erin here actually has a career change dog, Autumn. Autumn, Erin, you like to say she's the epitome of the floor is lava. She has to put down a yoga mat for Autumn to work around. So if we have, like, let's say we had a dog that was going to go on to be a PTSD dog and something happened, it didn't work out. Again, we'll go down that route with volunteer puppy raiser. A lot of our touch therapy dogs, not a lot, like maybe a fourth or so, do go into the touch program. So we have a Duo dog Little Bit. He's this fat, juicy yellow lab. He's a touch therapy dog too. So, yes. Uh-huh.
Do you guys ever get dogs from like rescue, or are they strictly just bred?
Yeah, we strictly breed. Yeah, we're really looking for excellence. So, for example, the first puppy I ever raised, her name is Duo Dog Garmin. That's the one my husband thought we were raising for 18 weeks, sucker. She actually, when she was about a year, all of the girls do go through genetic testing, eyes, heart, ears, to make sure there's no issues. And then we are looking at those girls to go into the breeder program. So Garmin's now in the breeder program. She just had her first litter on January 11th, the Sweets litter. So I am raising little Muffin, who is her daughter, and it's really cute to have them at home. But yes, we breed all of our own dogs. In the past, we did try a Doodles litter. Not so good. And then a while back, we also did some golden retrievers, but we pretty much stick to the English Labradors. Oh, yes, touch can be rescue. I would actually, David, if you're okay, I'd love for you to come up here and tell the story about how you rescued Cuba. And when you guys, first of all, when you see Mr. Handsome come up, he's the most beautiful dog, but David really has an incredible story about how he rescued Cuba. Look at him. Evie, come.
That's okay. Hi, my name is David Chi, and this is my touch therapy dog, Cuba. He's a liver spotted Dalmatian. He's 4.5 years old. Cuba, Cuba, Cuba. Something there. Yeah, so 4.5 years ago, I was actually on the Merrimack River in the middle of winter on my boat and pulled him out of the Merrimack River onto my boat. He was about yay big, 5 pounds, 7.5 weeks old. He wouldn't have made it if we weren't there. There was no one else out there in the middle of winter on the Merrimack River except for me. So yeah, we rescued him that way. And he has a superpower that we noticed when he was growing, that he can recognize people that were uncomfortable or anxious, and he would go right up to them and just lean on them. And the people would just relax and lean right back in. So, and it really wasn't until I met Sara Newton at one of our Bayer United Way events when she brought her touch therapy dog that I got inspired to put him through the program. So last year, we did the Duo Touch program and graduated in October. So since October, we've been coming to events like this. This is my first time sharing this story in front of so many people. And yeah, so we go to a senior assisted living place once a week, and we also go to a middle school once a month to give touches. So yeah, I can talk to you all later if you have more questions about the actual faithful day, December 14, 2021. It was a great day when we found Cuba. So thank you.
Thank you, David. Any other questions, touch or assistance dogs? Yes.
Training, do you ever have dogs that temperaments don't work with other dogs and you have to separate them? What does that look like when raising them?
So I was going to think of my buddy Deuce. So Margot has a black lab. His name's Deuce. He was actually in touch therapy with Mishka and I, and Deuce had a little bit of a reaction towards other dogs, so he did not fail. He just said, I would rather not be around other dogs. If we also have that situation with any assistance dogs, our canine team will try to work. If it doesn't work, then that dog will also have a career change and probably go back and live with its volunteer puppy raiser. Any other questions? Yes, I love when Evie does the sploot. Is that the technical word for it? Sploot.
How many dogs do you raise a year? I'm back here.
Oh, here you are. Oh, so we, for this year, we had budgeted for 5 litters of dogs. Now, I will tell you, Garmin, who I'm raising, her mama Bo had her very last litter. We will breed our mamas 3 times and then they retire. So Bo's last litter had a singleton, Mr. Fozzie. It's not abnormal, I would say, but it's not typically normal. So we do kind of look to breed about 40-ish dogs a year. Right now in our kennels, we have some dogs coming in from our Big 10 litter, which Margot's raising one, and we won't talk about that. But right now we have 10 dogs in advanced training. So we typically place between 16-ish dogs a year, whether that's with the client or a facility. Yes.
For the ones that aren't in the breeding program, do they get spayed and neutered?
Yes. Yep. Yes. Great questions, everyone.
So this is more of a general question, like when we're out in public and we see like the dogs and stuff. Normally they'll be wearing like a working dog. Don't do this.
Mhm.
If you have kids, you know that's not going to work. It's a
Yes.
puppy. They want to hug. So from a public standpoint, can you give us some tips on like what we should and shouldn't do and what we should and shouldn't have our children do and
Mhm.
how you explain it to people that you can or cannot touch?
Yes, absolutely. And you may be surprised to know that it's really the adults you have to coach more than the kids. The kids are very polite and say, "May I pet your puppy?" And the adults are just, "Oh my God," when they see it. So with our puppies in general, I actually just brought little Miss Muffin to Hobby Lobby last week. And there was a lot of people who were just oohing and awing over her. Because she's a puppy, I am able to pick her up and they can pet her. Now, as she gets older, that's not the case. When are working, and it will say service dog in training vest, it's okay to ask. But if they are working as handlers, we will say, "Unfortunately, she's working right now, but thank you for asking." I ran into that a lot with Garmin, especially when I would drop my son off at school. People would go nuts over it. And unfortunately, I do have to break little kids' hearts every once in a while. But it's really great to teach the kids too, that they know. And again, the kids are so polite. They're like, "Hey, can I pet your puppy?" But that's typically the response that handlers will have. Even if you see a dog, let's say in the hospital, the staff at Cardinal Glennon are trained to not even look at Thor, and Thor is to only respond to his handler. So that's a great question because it is just an education piece.
This is a really basic one. Do you find more success with male versus female dogs, or is it just
Nope, it's just kind of across the board. I mean, I work at Duo, so I'm comfortable saying we have excellent dogs. There's a lot of great other nonprofits that do the same work as us. But as far as the success rate, the national standard is 40%. And our chief canine officer, Chrissy, will tell you she's very proud. Our success rate is 70% with our dogs. So again, it goes back to that. We're not training our dogs for a specific job. We're letting them show us what they're happy doing.
Oh, just to kind of like with the public and the dogs.
Mhm.
So my husband has a service dog, and it's the adults. It's absolutely the adults. They just like, no, little old ladies like will just run up and just, "Oh my God, it's so cute." So what my husband actually trained our dog to do, so he'll be like, "Tippy, wave." So Tippy will wave to the people that want to come by. So that's how like the little kids just freak out about it. But that's how we kind of got like
That's
the
so
adults and the
cute.
kids to leave her alone.
Yeah. And, in my experience, and I'm sure David and Margot can speak to this, doing touch therapy as well, there's times where there are some kids or adults who don't want to be with the dog. Something may have happened to them, but we're trained in touch to say, "That's okay. You don't have to pet, thank you for looking from afar." So our touch therapy trainers are amazing. They're not only training the dog, they're also training the people as well. So.
And to respect everyone's time, we'll do one more question, and then Sarah and the group will be out front. So please feel free to stop with them. They'll be here for about a half hour.
Sorry for taking the last question, guys. But with the volunteer touch therapy dogs, do you guys have like breeds that you absolutely won't work with?
No, so that is a great question. We are very inclusive in our touch therapy program. So our smallest dog is a 5-pound mini poodle. Her name's Dolly. And then our biggest touch dog is a 150-pound mastiff named Tater Tot. So we only require that the handler's 18 years old, that the dog has a great temperament. If they have not had a basic obedience class, they'll have to take that through Duo. But yes, we're very inclusive. It's really amazing. And we have over 300 teams. And can anyone guess what the majority of the dogs are? What breed? Golden, yes, golden retrievers, because I love them. They're kind of derpy and they're happy and they're bred to make people happy. So yes, great question. Very inclusive on the touch side. Well, thank you guys so much for having us today. And again, we'll be in the back if you have any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, Evie, Aaron, David. Thanks for coming up and sharing Cuba's story. Appreciate it. everyone. So feel free to go out and talk to them. We do have our CAPS quarterly connect at A Cafe. So please make your way, grab a quick bite, and head over A Cafe. We'd love to have you in person there too. So thank you all.